How you doing?
Sid Small.
Kevin Young, nice to meet you.
Welcome to the North Atlantic Aviation Museum.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm going to take you on a brief tour of our
forward
facility
to it.
here. First thing I want to show you, the beginnings of Gander Airport.
Because Gander Airport's got some serious history behind it.
Oh, it does indeed, yeah. Many people wonder why there would be an airport here in a small community on the northeast coast of Newfoundland. In the 1930s, Britain and the United States wanted to establish transatlantic passenger service and needed a landing site for refueling. Gander area was selected because it was flat, away from coastal fog, and close to the railway so they could bring in supplies. Once World War II came along, this became a very active military base. Right. And there were some 10,000 aircraft ferried through Gander for refueling purposes during World War II. After World War II, which proved the viability of transatlantic aviation, there was a real boom in commercial passenger traffic. The aircraft being used were still piston engine aircraft, still needed refueling stops to make, say, Toronto, London, and Gander was the spot using the World War II facilities. Those facilities were replaced with a new town. It was built in the 50s. You can see an outline of the town here, and the main drag outlined like a goose head. Fairly busy town with a lot of aircraft coming and going. So busy, in fact, that Eaton's even put up a department store here. There's signage on the roof so passengers could spot the store. Lots of foreign visitors. Some of the famous people who stopped off here, there's Marilyn Monroe, Churchill, the Duke, Clark Gable, etc.
Frank Sinatra's signature here.
Frank signed in.
He signed in. Queen Elizabeth dedicated the airport, is that right?
1959, opened a new terminal here. That new terminal was a showpiece at the time of art and design, and was actually, I think, a special effort made by the Canadian government to do that because it was the first place in Canada that travelers originating from Europe landed, so it was intended as a bit of a showcase. That room still exists. It's a 50s time capsule. It does get used occasionally if there's a transatlantic airliner that has to divert to Canada for medical or emergency or mechanical reasons, and the passengers need to deplane. They can deplane into that terminal if they're going to be a stay of any duration. Like the aircraft diverted during 9/11.
Right.
And you were on an Air France flight, I believe.
Right.
The good folk at Air Traffic Control provided us with an air traffic control stand that would have been in use at the time of 9/11. And you were on an Air France flight, what number?
I think we were the second to land.
Right. Each of these strips represents one of the aircraft that came into Gander, and the airspace over North America was shut down. And Air France Flight 104, 004.
That's it.
Paris to Newark. Newark was your destination?
Yeah, that's it.
Then it looks like 1452 Greenwich time was when you landed in Gander. Would that make sense?
That makes sense. That's not when we deplaned, but that's when we landed. It's amazing to see. These are all the 9/11 flights here?
All the aircraft that were diverted here.
Wow. Brings back memories.
Sure does, I bet. And really a highlight here at the museum. We have one of the three pieces of steel from the World Trade Centers. The others are at the town hall at the airport. And this was donated to the town on the 10th anniversary as a memento and as a thank you for the events. And of course, we're happy to have it here as a display item.
It's a good thing that it's here. You guys deserve to be recognized for all that you did for us, and man, it's appreciated more than you know all this time later. Know there are a lot of grateful folks wandering around the earth today because of you guys. And all these years later, we never stopped telling the story